Hi, I'm RJ. If you want to know where you can trade in your Bitcoin for hard cash and do it safely, then keep watching. Okay, welcome to the second episode of Ask RJ. So the first question we've got is from Charles Meekins, and he is basically asking what I feel is the best online wallet for Bitcoin. So Charles, to be honest with you, it's a bit of a loaded question. Obviously there's many wallets out there, but any wallet that is online is always going to be vulnerable. No matter how secure they tell you it is, there is always that possibility that they get hacked. So basically I've come up with three options for you, and obviously anybody else out there that is interested in this, we're going to go and check those out, and I'll tell you the reason why I've chosen these three wallets. Okay, so for actual online desktop wallets, or obviously you can use it through a laptop or whatever, there are a few. One of the most talked about and probably easiest ones to access and gives you lots of options is Coinbase. Coinbase, they do a mobile app, they do a online desktop app, website like this. The reason why I personally have not chose Coinbase is that over the last couple of years there has been a lot of sort of, I don't know whether you'd say it was dodgy or just sort of, for me, things that had happened at Coinbase that I personally didn't really agree with or think it was best practice and things like that. But obviously they are a well marketed and very popular wallet, but myself personally I would not use them. Also, I don't know if it was last year or maybe the year before, I did hear a thing where they basically just started handing over information about people's accounts and stuff like that when they were under investigation or they were being audited, and they basically, obviously at the end of the day, the whole point of cryptocurrency and the world of crypto is it is decentralized, essentially anonymous. Obviously not everybody is looking to hide anything, but you know, obviously that is one thing that does attract a lot of people, and Coinbase just basically started opening their books to everybody's account, and a lot of people I think left because of that. So why have I picked blockchain? Well, obviously blockchain, as we know, that is the technology that everything sort of sits on top when it comes to, well, most things sit on top, especially Bitcoin when it comes to crypto. But also as well, I mean, their wallet has three forms of protection for you to do. So you have an email verification, you have second factor security, which for those of you that don't know, basically you have an app on your mobile phone called the Google Authenticator that produces a 6-digit number every 15 seconds. So when you go to log in, you will type in your password, you will type in your username, and then it will ask you for this 6-digit number. And because it changes so regular, if you look at the app and you don't type in that number quick enough, and that 15 seconds it up, it will tell you that has failed. So therefore you've got to use the next number. Because it changes so often, obviously it prevents anyone really sort of looking at that and, you know, being able to look at it quick enough, or even pick it up from your mobile phone quick enough and then use it to gain access to your account. Also as well, they give you as a backup a basically it's I'm not sure, it can be done a couple of ways. It's sometimes it's just a random load of words, that say 12 or 24 random words. Nowadays I think it is more like a string of letters and numbers, and basically what you do is you write that down, you put that somewhere very, very safe, and then in the unfortunate event that you lose your mobile phone, you can't get your 6-digit number, then you use that backup phrase to get into your account to then reset your second form factor security, and then you can scan that onto a new mobile phone, and then off you go. Obviously I have addressed this before. I always believe that if something or any account that has second factor security, you should always enable it. GoMiner does. Obviously that's a program that we're currently using. Faucet Hub does. I'm trying to think of EOBot does. All these programs that essentially has your money sitting there, that, like I've just said about wallets being online, they can be vulnerable. So if you've got second factor security on your account, it's going to be a lot harder for a hacker to hack your account than it is to hack someone's account that does not have that second factor security on it. But be aware, when you first go into enable second factor security, underneath there's normally a big QR code. That's a square with lots of little black and white other squares inside it. That's known as a QR code. That is what you scan using your Google Authenticator onto your mobile phone. You'll see underneath that QR code, you will see your recovery phrase. Write that down before you enable second factor security on that account, because once you enable it, you will not be able to get that recovery phrase again. So then if you lose your mobile phone, you then can't get into your account. The only way you can get another phrase, because they won't give you the same one, is if you've scanned it and realize you haven't written the phrase down, simply disable it, then re-enable it, which will give you another. You might have to log in and log out, but it will give you another QR code and another recovery phrase underneath. Write that recovery phrase down, then scan the QR code, and then it will enable. Because it'll ask you, when you first scan the QR code in, it will ask you before it's actually enabled for the 6-digit number, and then you type that in, click next or enable, and it will be enabled. But you've got to write that security recovery phrase down first. Okay, so as an online wallet, that's probably the one I would recommend. For BTC, I don't think it for trading BTC or sending it back and forth, I don't think there is a charge. For sending other crypto, which they can do, I think there is a slight fee, but for me, that is probably the simplest and from about the best online wallet I could recommend as a wallet that you would use on your desktop. Okay, so the next thing I would recommend, and this is actually a wallet I personally use. So this is called Mycelium. It is a mobile wallet, so it does have some drawbacks in the sense of you don't really want to keep a huge amount on you, because essentially you're carrying that around with you. Someone told me a long time ago, if you have a mobile wallet, you really don't want to be carrying any more than about a few days worth, or maybe a week's worth at most, of pay. So maybe $100 to $200 or so, but I wouldn't really recommend carrying any more than that around. I actually do also have another mobile wallet which is called Koinomi, and basically that I like that. The reason why I like that one because it is a multi-coin wallet. It also is ERC20 enabled, and I believe they are going up to ERC30. I think that's the next step soon. Basically what that enables you to do is if you get into investing in ICOs, you can actually store the tokens you've purchased for those ICOs in that wallet. But again, you've got to think about, if I get into an ICO and then suddenly I've got, like, say maybe a few thousand tokens on there that at the moment are worth about $10, but if it goes absolutely crazy and really takes off, I could end up with literally thousands of dollars in my wallet on my mobile phone, which I'm carrying around with me every single day. So that's, again, it's a little bit of a drawback, but obviously, if you're out and about and you know places that accept Bitcoin, having a mobile wallet is absolutely brilliant. You can pull that out, scan it, you're done. I've used a mobile wallet when I've been overseas. It's, like I say, you walk into a bar or something like that, or maybe even a grocery store, and all you got to do is quick scan. That's it. You see the trade. It's pretty much instant, and then you've got your stuff, and you're not getting your cash out or anything like that. So it is very handy. Mycelium, the reason why I particularly like this and what I use it for is I've spoken to you guys a lot about is hardware wallets. For those of you that are not that familiar about hardware wallets, I did a big review on what I consider as the 3 top hardware wallets, which was Trezor, the Ledger, and Keykeeper. If you want to go and check that out, I will put that link just here, and then go and watch that, and then you get a good idea about what hardware wallets are all about, and like I say, my input on what I feel are the top 3 hardware wallets on the market at the moment. So like I say, what I like about Mycelium is that this mobile wallet can actually be connected to my Trezor, but what I like is it can be connected in 2 ways. So it can be connected so I can actually use my mobile wallet to access my Trezor, so any monies I've got in there I can then use or send via my mobile wallet, which obviously can be very handy. But that is not how I use it. The second way you can use it, you can just use it as purely a way to monitor that hardware wallet. So if you are sending deposits to a hardware wallet or to a Trezor, I can just go into Mycelium mobile and see that that deposit has gone in and that it has been confirmed. So I've not got to get out my hardware wallet, I've not got to switch on my laptop, I've plug it in, access my account through that. I can just look on the Mycelium app and I will see that that deposit or even a withdrawal has gone out. So it's really, I use it as a monitoring, so I can check the ins and outs, what is coming in and what is going out from that Trezor. So as we're talking about that, this is a Trezor. So this is a hardware wallet. Comes in white, comes in black. If you really go high, for the fancy one, it actually comes in brushed aluminium. Looks very trick, but it is expensive. The great thing I like about this actually uses bank technology with this keypad. As you can see, this keypad is not in number order, and every time you turn it on, these numbers will be in different places. But and that is what makes it so secure, because this is what you will see on your screen, and you will have a number, a PIN number. It doesn't have to be, it can be a long PIN number. It doesn't need to be 4 digits like your bank card. So it could be a long PIN number, and all you'll do is enter that number into this pad. So if say your PIN number begins with 8, then normally, obviously, on like a keypad, on a calculator or something like that, 8 would probably be here, or somewhere. It'd be down the bottom with 0 and 9. Whereas obviously here at the moment 8 is there, and then say your next number is 5, so that would be here, and so on and so forth. But the next time you log in, those numbers will all be jigged around, and then you'll input them in the different squares. So that's what makes it extremely secure, a bit like the authenticator, except the number stays the same. It's just, so your PIN number remains the same, it's just those numbers get all mixed around on this keypad, but you enter it, so you enter it as you see it on here. Also as well with the Trezor, it'll always confirm any withdrawals, at least a couple of times I think. It does update regular with firmware, and also if you have any troubles, the guys at Satoshi Labs are absolutely brilliant in the way of support. I had a big issue many years, probably about 2 or 3 years ago when I first got a Trezor, and I couldn't understand what was going on, and neither could they. I had to send them like screenshots of various things and stuff like that. And eventually they realised what was happening, and they ended up actually sort of totally changing their back office, or the back system of Trezor, because of this problem I'd had and they had never picked up on, because they had never had it before. So they were absolutely brilliant, and now it works. I have no problems, and so they are really good. And like I say, for security, the Trezor hardware wallet is one of the best, if not the best. I personally use it. Also, just to say, anything on here I'm not being paid for. None of these are sponsors or anything like that. So, don't think I'm trying to push something on you for my own gain. This is just me giving you my opinion. Okay, so that's pretty much gonna have covered that question. Charles, I hope that gives you a better idea on what wallet to choose. Like I say, it is difficult, because really at the end of the day, anything that is online is vulnerable. That's why a hardware wallet, I always say that if you've got an online wallet and you start to get a large amount built up in there, get a hardware wallet. Because the great thing is obviously once you've finished accessing your account, you unplug that, and that is it. It is no longer connected to the internet, so nothing can happen to it. It's pretty sturdy. Personally, I wouldn't test that. I wouldn't jump up and down on it or anything like that, but they are pretty solid. A lot of the these hardware keys are pretty solid and durable. But yeah, that's my advice. Again, the same thing with the mobile wallet. If you start getting a lot in there, send it to your hardware wallet if you have one. Okay, so let's move on to question 2. This also comes from Charles Meekins. You're a bit cheeky there, Charlie. You're sending in 2 questions, but I'll let you off because it is also a question that I have been asked in the past. In fact, about 2 years ago, I must have been asked about 100 times a day. When Miner Farm was going extremely well, I got asked this question all the time. Okay, so let's come out of that. So Charles wants to know, do I trust these exchanges? So these basically where you'll have an account, you sell to a person on the site a certain amount of Bitcoin, and then they'll put that Bitcoin into your PayPal, or they'll put it into your bank account, or they can put a lot of these. I don't know about this one. I've personally not used this one, but a lot of these places do have multiple ways that they can get their money to you. So this site in particular, like I say, I've not had any actual dealings with it. I did do a bit of a background check on it, and I read a lot of reviews on it, and to be honest with you, a lot of people have been very successful trading their Bitcoin on this site. But I've also read a lot of people, even some of these people that were successful, saying that they still felt that it felt like a bit of a scam, because their main thing was that when they compared pay4.com to other exchanges, pay4.com's rates were massively higher, so they were giving you a lot more money than other places, which you could say, well, that's great, I'm off there now. But the thing is with these places, almost everybody is always going to do one or two small exchanges to test the water. And this is what I think they're doing. Obviously, I don't know, and I don't want to badmouth them. I'm just, like I say, I've not had any dealing with, but just reading people's reviews, I'm thinking what they're doing possibly is luring you in. So you do a couple of exchanges, you're like, flipping out, great, I'm getting way more money than these other exchanges. And then when you do that big exchange, that's when they get you. But like I say, I could be wrong. Anyway, a site I have used and is still massively popular, used a lot, and has gained a really great reputation for peer-to-peer exchanges, is a site called LocalBitcoinscom. So they basically do work pretty much in most places around the world. You can go in, you can see the sellers, and they all have ratings. They all basically. So the first number is the amount of exchanges a trader or seller has made or has been involved with. So David Leo 93, he's done over 1,000 trades, and he's still at 100% positive. Whereas if you look at Jova Webb, he's made 100 plus, but he's already lost 1% on his feedback. So obviously you don't know why that is. That could have been just something that went wrong, and then the person he traded with has left him bad feedback, so that's killed his percentage by 1. But it's a bit like eBay. You do leave feedback and things like that. So you can come in here, you can buy Bitcoin, you can also sell it. These are the ways you can sell it, or these are the ways you would receive your money. So you got a cash deposit, you got MoneyGram. Actually, yeah, that's right. No, hang on, that's not right. So, hang on. Right, sorry, I was a little confused there. It's because I've got it on United States there. So basically, in America, the way you would receive your money is either a cash deposit, a MoneyGram, serve to serve, or Western Union. In the UK, it's slightly different. You can actually have a bank wire transfer. So if we go into UK, and so you can get a cash deposit, money bookers, Skrill. So that's very similar to NetTeller. It's like a online thing, which Skrill I think does have a debit card that you get with that as well. So you can have a national bank transfer, so that's pretty much to any bank, I believe. Other online payment, PayPal, and then transfer to a specific bank. So that's your other bank, sorry. So that national bank would be national bank. So yeah, and it's very easy. Obviously you just open an account. These guys also have second factor security, and they do have other security as well. So obviously you've got a username, your password, you've got second factor security, and also when it comes to the trade, the way that works is that you would send basically the Bitcoin that you have gets put into escrow on the site. Then the person that you're trading with gets told that. They then send you the money. Once you've received that money, you come back into your account and say, yes, I've received the money. Then that Bitcoin is taken out of escrow and then given to the trader. So it's not just you send it to him and then you're hoping he's going to send that money to you. It gets stuck, the Bitcoin gets put into an intermediary escrow until you get your money. So that makes it also very secure. And obviously with these guys, you can do, because this is showing all payments. If you have a particular way that you want to do it, so if you just say, right, I want to use Skrill or Money Bookers, then what it will do is you then go search, and it will give you everybody that uses that form of money transfers the way that. So this guy, Bitcoin Group 123, he's had over 3,000 trades, and he's still at 100%. So obviously, if you're going to go for Money Bookers and Skrill, I would say use him. The minimum he will trade is £110, and the maximum is 10,000. Obviously, for the United States or anywhere else, you just come in here, pick your country, and then pick, let's say Western Union. You'd pick that, and then again you're going to get a list of people, and then these are all the people that deal with that, and obviously like you've got a few guys at 1,000. Also as well, try and make notes that these guys that are in green, I think if they're in, so basically, yeah, so he takes 30 minutes. This guy he takes 30 minutes, but this guy will take within minutes. So again, he's got 1,000 trades, he's 100%, and he's fast. So if you're going to use it, he's probably one of the people I would go with, but he will only do $50 to $800. So obviously there's a lot of things you've got to look at to make sure the trade and the person you're trading with fits what you're looking to do. So yes, Charles, I would, if you were looking to do a trade for cash, I would probably tell you to use LocalBitcoinscom. And at the end of the day, if you're only trading small amounts, you shouldn't have any problems. There has been a few cases recently. I think in 2018 there was a guy in San Diego that got caught actually, and he had made a business literally out of trading Bitcoin, and and he had made hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and he got caught and he got arrested. So obviously, like I say, small bits you'll be fine. Everything on this site is secure. They're very thorough on the way they do things, but obviously if you're going a bit crazy, then it's probably going to get flagged or picked up somewhere along the line. I mean, that guy in San Diego, for all you know, he just happened to mention it to the wrong person, and then they mentioned it to someone else, and then Chinese whispers, it gets around, and then that's it. So Charles, I hope I've answered both of your questions as thoroughly as I can. We're going to move on to a final question, which is coming from Bill Carter. There was another question which one of my subscribers quite nicely asked to have a bit of background on me, for me to tell you guys something about myself, maybe, you know, how I got into crypto and stuff like that. And if more of you want to sort of hear that little story about how I started, you know, and and to the point I'm at now, I will talk about that, but I don't think it's something that everybody wants to hear about. So, like I say, if it's something you do, I'll happily tell you, but I don't want to bore you to death. So we're going to stick to the questions that I feel that are quite important, and that obviously will bring some value to you. Okay, so we're moving on to the next question, which is from Bill Carter. And Bill Carter is interested about the miner pools. Okay, so this is something I briefly went over in my last video. I talked about, obviously, that they have now opened these miner pools, and you know, there's many pools that are available. I had a quick look. I think in my last video it said there was 20 pools. I had a quick look just now before I made this. There is now 26 miner pools. So obviously they're building thick and fast. But like I said, and it's not always that beneficial to join a pool. And I will explain in 2 seconds. I'm just going to pause the video. Okay, so I just wanted to check before I start talking about this that I have understood this gentleman's comment. I'm not going to name him, but basically he made a post on my recent video because I'd said that how sometimes being in a pool is not always beneficial, and I hope that GoMiner doesn't force everybody into a pool and allows people to mine on their own if they want to. The reason why I say this is that if you're mining on your own, no matter what size your hashing power, you are essentially being rewarded for that amount of hashing power. Okay? I mean, obviously there are some circumstances that, you know, if the difficulty gets so high, then essentially the hashing power you have can no longer deal with that, so you actually start getting slightly less than you were before. But basically you are getting what you deserve, essentially, for the hashing power you have. In a pool, right? So basically, the way a mining pool works is that you obviously, the idea is that everybody sort of puts their power together with the idea of that it helps to mine blocks faster, which is a great idea, absolutely brilliant. But the problem is it does work fine. Obviously the theory behind it works really well, but it's not where it does work really well. So I'm trying to word this right. It does work really well, pretty much as long as everybody is on an even keel. So I'm not saying everybody has to have the exact amount of hashing power the same, but as long as you're all sort of in the ballpark, then you're all being rewarded the same. Because basically, obviously, like I say, as a pool, the idea of the pool is to mine blocks faster, because obviously you pool your power together, then the pool has more power, which then mines blocks faster. But the thing is that no matter how many people are in a pool, the blocks that you mine, the reward that is then given to the miners for mining that block is a set amount, right? So I believe, if I'm right, I believe the set amount now, since the last halving, is about 12.5 Bitcoin per block, right? So say you've got this, say obviously we all start off with our 300 gigahash free, and say so there's 100 of us. We'll go into a pool, and we're all got our 300 gigahash. We mine a block. That 12.5 Bitcoin is then spread evenly over everybody, which is cool. But then if, say, 4 or 5 people start to upgrade quite aggressively, like they actually invest and they start upgrading quite aggressively, then what happens is, because the way it works in a pool is everybody is rewarded for what they input. Yeah? So if you've got, say, 4 or 5 people and they've aggressively upgraded, they've gone from 300 gigahash and then they're now at something like 10 terahash each, right? So when that 12.5 Bitcoin comes in as your reward, it doesn't stay even. They then get the biggest cut of that 12.5 Bitcoin, and then the rest of it is then divided by the people below. And if, say, the people below can't afford to upgrade, they don't really want to invest because they're worried that something might go wrong, so they're just building that 300 gigahash. But those people at the top, because they've just had a massive chunk of a reward, they're like, wow, I can upgrade even more. So they then upgrade again. So then when the next 12.5 reward comes in, their chunk is even bigger than it was before. And then, so then the rest of that is being shared is getting less, and it can get less, and it can get less. So, so that's what can happen if a mining pool gets really, it doesn't even need a lot, but a few really heavy hitters in there, then it can kill it for everybody else. So the gentleman I'm speaking about, he says that basically, if you're in a pool, your reward cannot decrease. It can decrease if, like I say, if it gets really top heavy. Unless GoMiner has changed something within their pool that it doesn't do that. I did notice that you can stipulate sort of the maximum power allowed into your pool. Earlier I clicked on a pool to just basically check it out, and I was told I had too much power for that pool. So which is great, because that means that people can start off in the lower pools and then work their way up. So that way, if everything is essentially basically even, then everybody does get an even cut and everybody gets the rewards they deserve, which is brilliant. But like I say, if it starts getting to the point where it starts getting top heavy, then those rewards decrease for everybody below the heavy hitters. Okay, so that actually wasn't the question that Bill asked me. Bill just actually wanted to know how he joined a pool. So basically, obviously, if you want to look at all the pools, you just click on more pools, and then you use this second scroll to scroll here. A lot of these guys now, because this guy Rich Miner yesterday was free to join. He's now saying you've got to pay him 20,000 GT to be part of his pool. This guy is charging 150,000 to be part of his pool. Is that right? Yeah, 150,000. And Bitcoin King is free. So, you know, but obviously these guys are getting to the top, so they're going to be mining probably more. But like I say, if you get in there and you're small, you're not going to be earning a lot. But yeah, so basically all you do is you click on this guy, say for instance, and then another page will open up and it'll have a big green button on it saying join, I believe. Because I actually did join these yesterday, and then I thought no, because I looked in the list and I saw no end of people. Oh, excuse me, been talking too long. Hang on. Okay, so like I said, this is what you'll see if you've got too much power. So it says you cannot join. Your hash power is greater than the current pool limits. So what you'll do is you just basically go back, and you'd find another pool. So once you've found a pool that your mining power is not too much for, like I just showed you previously, this is what you'll be faced with. So you basically come in, you click the join button, and then you'll have an apply button. Once you hit the apply button, it will turn green and it will say something like waiting for approval. And then obviously once you have been approved, I've not done it, but I'm assuming that your miner will then just start mining in the pool, and you will then start to see profits from that pool, that joint power. Obviously, this guy is I think top of the list. He's charging 30,000 GT just to basically get into his pool, but he also only has 11 miners, so that means that that reward I was talking about is going to be shared between a lot less people. And also because he's charging so much, those people will probably be all on a very similar amount of power, because at the end of the day you've got to have a good amount of power to have 30,000 spare, and obviously knowing that you can still earn enough to get that back and then start making a profit. Because like I always tell you with these, anytime you invest in a program, you've always got to make that investment back before you can start sort of counting the pennies, because until you've made that investment back, it's, you know, it's not profit, you're just making your own money back. So just be aware of that. Obviously in the list there is, I'm sure, plenty of pools that are free to join. Those pools will probably have larger amounts of people, so therefore you'll be sharing it amongst more people, but those people might well have a lower amount of power as well. But then you can just get people with huge amounts of power in the free pools as well. So you need to just sort of, as there's so many pools, I mean, I think we were looking, there's 27 pools now, so that gives you plenty to choose from. So just make sure that whatever pool you join, you know, it's not, I would just suggest that try and get into a pool that is not too heavy at the top with big power machines or big power accounts, and try and get in one that it's, you know, everyone is relatively around about the same power as yourself. Okay, so on another note, just a last little bit of positivity before we wrap this up. In my previous video to this, so that would have been the Go Miner EOBot update, I did try and do a withdrawal. We found that the withdrawal limit had gone up to 200,000. You'll be glad to know that the day after I hit the 200,000, I made the withdrawal, and the withdrawal landed in my wallet with no problems. Absolutely, you know, all the confirmations, everything, all cool. So that's now what's that now? Five or six withdrawals I've done. Obviously, most of them at 100,000, but I've just done one for 200,000. So that is obviously still a really good positive, and that shows that the program is still working well. So that's it. Obviously, you know, make sure you check out the videos that I suggested you to go and view, and obviously I hope you enjoyed the episode, answered the questions that you have got, or you know, maybe even ones that you hadn't thought of. Like I said, you know, sorry, brain's gone. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Take care. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll speak to you soon. Thanks a lot. Bye.